Hey guys, I'm Annie Khalid, aka Annie Curly, but not so curly right now. Today's video is about the best pieces of advice that I would give to a girl who's about to get married. So obviously I've got a really bad throat right now. I don't know why. I've been traveling a lot, haven't had any rest, so hence the croaky voice. So I apologize in advance. Now, getting married can be the most scariest thing in the world. I know this obviously because I did it twice. Jokes aside, here are some pieces of advice that I wish someone had given me. It's all just mixed up. There's no order of the most important to the least important. It's all generic though. And let's start with my first piece of advice. So my first piece of advice would be, make sure you take a painkiller before you leave your house to get to your venue. You're gonna need those 2 Panadols for all the bright lights at the venue and the photography that's going to do your head in. Also, your head is going to hurt with all those bobby pins that are going to be inside your head, in your jaw, piercing through your skin. And after a couple of hours, it does really get to you. Like personally, I remember when I was in the bridal room at the venue, I had a lot of extra hair that had been attached to my head to make my bun look really big. And you know, we hadn't even started the function, and like 20 minutes into it, I was just, my temples were throbbing. So I wish that I had taken 2 Panadols before I left my house, because you know, they take a while to kick in and you don't want to be at your own wedding with a banging headache. So if you don't want to live in a joint family system, be as clear as you can about it in the beginning. Joint family systems are extremely common in Pakistan especially, and so if you're really adamant about not living in that environment and having your own place, make sure that you talk to your husband about it before you get married. So even if your marriage is an arranged marriage and you don't really talk much, or you have scheduled phone calls or something, you need to talk about it before you get married. Delaying it is only going to cause tension between you and your husband, and as newlyweds, that's something you don't want to have. Also, if you want to work after marriage and you haven't spoken about it with your husband, I know this sounds like very old-fashioned pieces of advice, but trust me, I know people that, you know, went into their marriages thinking everything was going to be hunky-dory. They were going to go and continue with their work or their education after they got married, and lo and behold, husband said no. Remember that marriage is great. It's half your deen, but it's not the be-all and end-all of your life. A lot of girls are made to believe that marriage is basically the dream. It's okay to have ambitions and goals after marriage and to pursue them, just like I did and hundreds of girls that I know. So make sure that you discuss and you talk about everything with your husband. As awkward as it might be and as uncomfortable as it might be, it's something you have to do before you sign your nikah. Okay, so the next piece of advice that I have for you is very important, and I can't stress this enough. Do not be pressurized by social media into having a big wedding. Just because you're seeing people on your Instagram and your Facebook and your Twitter, you know, having these big lavish weddings doesn't mean that you also have to have the same, irrespective of the fact that you have the money or don't. Obviously, as you know, it's sunnah to have a simple wedding, a simple marriage. The simplest weddings are the best weddings. What's happened now is society, culture, and tradition have just all mixed in together and kind of made this amalgamation of some kind of crazy 10-day spree that you have to have. Weddings have become circuses. I mean, I kid you not. People are having 10 functions before the actual mehendi. They're having dinner parties, parties for the groom, parties for the bride, parties for the bride's best friend's uncle's son's cousin who's come all the way from Canada. It's just getting ridiculous now. People are spending ridiculous amounts of money on weddings that they don't need to have. We're trying to impress people that don't give a shit about our wedding. They're gonna complain when they get home anyway. They're gonna talk bad about the food. They're gonna make fun of the bride's mom. They're gonna say the groom didn't have any hair. Why do you want to waste your money trying to impress these people? Why do you want to put your parents into debt? I mean, even if you have the money, now I keep saying this, is even if you have saved for your wedding and you want it to be big, think about it. You could put that money into your honeymoon. You could invest that money into a business. There's XYZ millions of things that you could actually do that would be productive for you and your spouse with that money, instead of you spending it on a lavish wedding for people that really couldn't care any less. So do not feel pressurized by social media, and do not feel pressurized by Instagram and all these people posting, you know, their 50th function post-wedding or bridal upon bridal showers. Personally, me and Saad, we kept our wedding as simple as we could. Yes, we had a cake at our wedding, and we had someone that we know make it for us. Nothing was too expensive or crazy. My whole outfit for my shadi was 2 lakh rupees, as compared to people who make like 10 lakh rupee joras. I got mine from a designer that I don't even think I know her name. I can't remember her name. Shehnaz something from Karachi, I can't remember. And it was 2 lakh rupees total. And the only extremely lavish thing that I did, or the only thing that I would say that I kind of went a bit crazy on, was calling my makeup artist from Holland to Lahore and flying her in with her mom to do my makeup. That's because I wanted my makeup to be absolutely spot on, and she is one of my closest friends. And so she came, and you know, it wasn't really an expense. She didn't charge me for the makeup. I didn't really go crazy on my wedding. Now, you might think when you see the pictures of my wedding that it was very expensive and all of that, but it wasn't. Sahara came to perform at my wedding. They came to my barat and they performed there. It was crazy. But they're friends of mine too, so they did it for free. So what I'm trying to say is, do not be ashamed to wear your mother's jora, to reuse props. Don't be ashamed to call in favors. Save money. That's the most intelligent thing that you can do for yourself and for your parents. Don't make your mom and dad take out a loan. Don't put your parents into debt for your wedding. Don't do it. I just want to apologize mid-video because I keep touching my hair and I don't really know why I'm doing that. It's just because I don't really have straight hair much, and I don't know how to handle it, so. Another piece of advice that I'm going to give, and this is going to sound a bit crazy, is if you don't have to, don't wear real gold. Gold is a good investment, there's no doubt about that. If it's just going to be lying around in your locker, in the bank, or you're just going to give it to your mom for safekeeping, there are so many beautiful artificial jewelry sets out there now, available everywhere, and they're just so stunning that you really don't need to buy gold, you know. And there's so many more options, and there's just so much you can do, and you can wear those things again. And God forbid, if anything happens or they get lost or stolen, you're not going to freak out and panic. So I would definitely say, do not invest in gold unless you absolutely 100% like have to or want to, because you love gold and because you will wear that set again and again. My parents bought me a lot of gold, and I got gold from Saad's side, and all of my gold is actually lying in my locker, and I'm not wearing it because I don't really like gold, and I don't really like jewelry that much, and I like wear earrings, and that's about it, and or maybe a little chain, but I don't like heavy gold or heavy jewelry. So, you know, basically it's just lying there doing nothing. And on top of that, you know, you have to pay zakat as well, which is a huge responsibility. And zakat is also, you know, it's one of the 5 pillars of Islam, so it's a good thing. But you know, you could really kind of save money on your wedding by cutting down on the gold and wearing artificial jewelry. My next piece of advice is, don't leave facials and polishes and scrubs, and you know, if you are the type of person who gets fillers or lip injections and all of that, just don't leave it till the last minute, because heaven forbid you actually get a rash, or you get an allergic reaction, or it goes red or green or blue, or something happens. You're not going to have that much downtime to be able to have your skin heal completely. It could show in your makeup, it could ruin a part of your face, or it could totally damage your self-confidence. Also, you know, even the most simplest of things like getting facials done, you know, facials do leave red marks on your skin, like most of the time. And if you're like me and you have skin that kind of bruises easily or marks easily, then, you know, even facials, they leave these marks on your skin. And of course now we have, you know, color correctors, and people have so much more awareness of concealers and all of that. I would just suggest that don't leave it till last minute. Think about how long your skin would actually take to heal, and just calculate the time before your actual wedding and get those things done then. A personal experience that I would like to add here is, this was the day before my mehndi, and I actually went to a very respected salon to get my upper lip done, and she was threading my upper lip, and she actually got some skin stuck on the side of my lip right here. Now, of all the occasions in the world and all the times that I have visited the salon, they had to choose that one day right before my mehndi to bruise my skin right here. And when I went home, it was red, and then it went blue, and it bruised, and there was a huge bruise right here on the side of my lip, and it was horrific. I actually called my makeup artist in. Luckily she obviously hid it with color correct and concealer, and she's very good about it, so you can't tell when you actually look at the pictures now. But in retrospect, I think I made a huge mistake going exactly one day before, because considering heat, light, and all other environmental factors, my makeup could have melted or come off from a side, and it could have been visible. So don't leave these things till last minute, because you're only going to regret it. Now, I keep looking down at my phone because I've actually written the points in my phone, in my notes. So that's why, if you're wondering why I'm looking down again and again, this is the reason. So guys, I wish that someone had told me this on the day of my barat, because, I started feeling a lot of pain in my jaws, and my jaws were aching a lot. So if you want to smile in your pictures, don't smile big. Like, don't be like, your jaws will start to hurt and ache. It hurts, like jaws hurt. My jaws were hurting so much because I was genuinely very happy. But then I realized about an hour and a half into it that I needed to relax my face and smile big enough to show that I'm happy, but not to the point where it was going to make my face and my facial muscles hurt. So when you're on stage, do consider this piece of advice. And if you're the shy type and you don't want to smile at all, that is your personal choice. But if you do want to, and you're a happy bride like I was, remember what I said, okay? Moving on to the next, and I think second last piece of advice I have for you. You don't need to invite every single person that you ever knew to your wedding. It's not important to invite your cousin's friend because you went to hashisha with them one night and you kind of sparked on a good conversation, and you're going to feel bad about not inviting them. Don't invite people that don't really mean something to you. This wedding is sometimes like we have to invite certain people and we don't have a say in it, but if you can control inviting random people to your wedding, then make sure that you do, because if you're like a private person as well, like me, or just generally, you don't want strangers to be sitting there. If there's someone in your invitation list that you don't like and you just feel like you don't want to invite them, or if there's someone on your husband's side that you would feel very uncomfortable with, then make sure that you voice that and make sure that you let them know. It's your celebration, so make sure that you are comfortable with the people around you. Okay, so the last piece of advice that I'm going to give is make sure that you eat, because it's your wedding, and if you're not going to eat, it's going to be very hard to spend those 3-4 hours just sitting there on an empty stomach. You're going to get sick. You need to eat, so make sure that you do. And if you're going to have problems with your nut or your lipstick or whatever, make sure that you have brought the same lipstick with you and you have someone to apply it onto your lips when you're on the stage in case it comes off. And make sure that if you can't eat by yourself, or if you're too shy to, then you've got your mom, your sister, your cousin ready to help you eat or to feed you. Make sure that there's someone there to bring you the food. Do not refuse the food. Eat the food. So guys, I think I'm done with this video. I hope that it was informative for you, and I hope that if you didn't get every single point that I was trying to make and you understood maybe 1 or 2 of them, I'm glad, because I really want you guys to don't ever feel like you need to succumb to what society thinks or the pressures of Instagram and Facebook and social media, because you can have the most simplest wedding in the world, and it can be the most beautiful wedding. It's okay to wear your mum's jewelry, you know, it's okay to call in favors and ask friends to help, and it's okay to keep it low budget. Like, just don't feel pressurized into having the most lavish wedding just because people that you're following are doing the same, and you think that you might not be accepted, or because people are going to make fun of you. Just remember, we love our parents a lot, and we don't want to put any debt on our parents for our marriage. So keep it simple and just keep it relevant. Invite your favorite people and have a good time. Please don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and share. Bye.